Hare Krishna, dear devotees. How are you doing this Tuesday morning?
Good, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I see, I have been seeing Sadhana Mataji and Suyash Prabhu for some time now on the call. I was busy doing other things. Sorry, could not acknowledge you. Then we have Vijaya Mataji and then Varshana Mataji. Fantastic. Sutapa also joined us. Very good. So I will start with sharing our screen with you. And while we have Suyash Prabhu, he'll be making the reading order as usual. I don't have to worry about that today since he's there. So we got the Panchaka prayers is what we're going to do today. And let's see how we are going with that.
Mataji, 10 o'clock I'll leave for my doctor appointment.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know and hope have you had a good doctor's appointment.
Hare Krishna. I won't be able to read today. I have to go to work early.
Okay, we will miss your reading and but do share your thoughts. Can you?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna, Mataji, I leave at 7:30 for work.
You told me.
Well.
Yes, you told me about that. Wow, it's going to be lonely here today. I should recruit some more people. Hey, those of you are on Facebook, can you come and join us on Zoom? Rohit Prabhu, Bhakta Rohit, Achyuta Radhe Mataji, Preeti Sharma Mataji, Bhakta Max, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, Vijay Lakshmi Mataji, and Vidyavadu Mataji in the reverse order of appearance. Welcome to the call. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi cha kasyana parihare pilajame kim bhuve purushottama. Yuvatinam yatha yuni, yunam cha yuvato yatha, mano bhi ramate tadvan, mano me ramatam tvai. Bhumau skalita padanam, bhumireva valambanam, tvai jata paradhanam, tvameva sharanam prabhu. Govinda vallabhe radhe, prarthaye tvamaham sada, tvariyam iti janatu, govindo mam tvaya saha. Radhe vrindavanadhishe, karuna mritvahini, kripaya nij padabja, dasyam mahyam pradiyatam. Okay, so let's see what do we have in the reading order today.
Yeah. So reading order: Sutapa Mataji, Sadhana Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Suyash, Vijaya Lakshmi Mataji, Shraddha Mataji.
All right. So without much ado, we should get going. Whose turn is it to read?
Sutapa Mataji.
Sutapa, please unmute.
Mataji, you are on mute.
Yes, Mataji. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yes, sorry about that.
Yeah.
There you go. Can you read it? Can you see?
Yes. Thank you. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you.
Hare Krishna. O Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants. Hare Krishna.
O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
Hari Bol. Okay, so now we will go to the next prayer, and which is what? What are we doing today?
1.1.1.
Bhagavatam 1.1.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we had homework. What is Om in this verse referred to?
Lord.
Godhead unto
Oh my Lord.
Lord.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, yeah. If you are doing rectification, which is you are trying to memorize, then just try to memorize it as it is. It'll give you more pleasure, like in more satisfaction. Okay. Namaha means what?
Offering my
Offering
obeisance.
obeisance
Offering obeisances. Bhagavate.
Unto
Absolute
the
personality of
personality of Godhead.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Priyanka Mataji, Vashana Mataji, you have given some answers. Now I'm expecting answers from others. All right. Vasudevaya. What does that mean? Anybody wants to tell us? Unmute and tell us. Vasudevaya. Okay, Varshana Mataji. Okay, Suyash Prabhu. Because Priyanka and Varshana have already given answers, so I'm not taking a hand. All right, Suyash Prabhu, what do you say?
And unto Vasudeva, the son of Vasudev, Lord Krishna.
Okay. Lord Krishna, perfect. And then one more thing that was describing Lord Krishna.
Son of
Starts with the
Son of
primeval
Lord. Yes.
Lord Shri Krishna.
Right. Okay. And what is Janma Adi?
creation,
creation,
sustenance.
sustenance.
No.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Sadhana. Sadhana
Yeah.
Mataji was
Creation,
first.
sustenance, and destruction.
Okay, very good. Creation, sustenance, and destruction. Asya.
Of the manifested universe.
Of this universe. Okay, good. Of this manifested universe. Perfect. This word is not there. Yataha. Okay, now those who were speaking earlier can join because we have given one line. Okay.
From whom?
Okay. That's a good thing. So Tapa raised her hands. That's gentlemanly behavior. Gentlewomanly
From
behavior.
whom?
From whom? Okay. Okay, I'm looking at all of you. Don't raise your hand before. No, Varshana, don't raise your hand before. I know you're not doing it on purpose, but did you notice that your hand has a mind of its own? All right. So, Anvayat.
Direct.
Priyanka raised her hand. Anvayat?
Directly.
All right, directly. And Itarataha.
Indirectly.
No. Sutapa has to tell us because she raised her hand.
Yeah, indirectly.
Indirectly. Okay, you can speak without your turn, but I won't give you marks. Sutapa gets 200 points for raising her hands. Okay. Then Cha,
Oh.
Priyanka,
And
okay. Okay, I will not give you in the same order now. I'm becoming mean. Hrida means what?
Mataji, what did you say?
Hrida.
Oh, heart. Of the heart.
Of the heart, the consciousness of the heart, right? Consciousness of the heart. Okay. Artheshu. Varshana Mataji.
Proposes.
Purposes. Okay. Now this one. Swarat.
Full knowledge.
Swarat.
Fully independence.
Parat.
Fully
Fully
independent.
independent.
Uttapa raised her hands and spoke simultaneously. Tene.
Imparted.
Tene.
Imparted.
Imparted. Okay. I'm waiting for hands. I'm only looking at hands. Okay. Brahma. Varshana.
The Vedic knowledge.
The Vedic knowledge.
Vedic knowledge.
Okay. Yaha. Did we do Yaha yesterday?
No,
Okay.
no.
Let's get started with Abhigyaha. Abhigyaha. Priyanka.
Fully
Fully cognizant.
Fully cognizant. All right. So let's go for 5 more today. Yaha means one who. Okay. Yaha means one who. The next one is Adi Kavaye. Adi means one who is in the beginning, the very first. Adi Kavaye means unto the original created being. Who is the original created being?
Brahma.
Original creation.
Brahma.
Okay. Original created being. And then let us just see. Muhyanti. This is a beautiful word, isn't it? Muhyanti sounds so nice. You can name your child Muhyanti, but you know what it means?
illusion.
Our illusion.
Our illusion.
Swarte.
Right? Our illusion. And then Yat,
About whom?
about
whom.
whom. Then Surayaha.
Great
Sages and demigods.
Right, Suryaha, great sages and demigods. So notice over here, and that brings us to the fifth word here. So remember that we usually use the term Sur and Asur, right? So demigods and the demons. But here, when people are advanced in devotional service, as an honorific, they're also called Sura over here, right? Great sages and demigods, they're also called Suras. It's not just demigods here, they're also referring to the sages, the saintly people. Okay, then let's do a few more there. Teja, okay. So let's just, we'll go back and do the synonyms one more time, but I'll start with the pronunciation of that. And if you are somehow in a noisy background, like you're working in a factory or something right now, just unmute yourself when there's time to speak, because I've unmuted all of you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhi Asya Yatonvayadi Taratash Chartheshvabhikya Swarat Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surya Tejo Varimidam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Okay, who goes in next to read?
Jaya Mataji.
Jaya Madhuri?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you give us half of the synonyms? Okay, because there are quite a few. I want to give a chance to others also. Maybe
Yeah.
you can go till where I've highlighted. Okay.
Okay.
Can you read? Can you see?
Adi Kavya. Should I start from there?
Yes, please.
Okay.
No, not from Adikavya. You start from Om and go all the way to Adikavya.
Om, O my Lord, Namah, O offering my obeisance, Bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead, Vasudevaya, unto Vasudev, the son of Vasudeva, or Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, the premier Lord. Janma Adi, creation, sustenance, and destruction. Asya, of the manifested universe. Yata, from whom. Anvyat, directly. Itarata, indirectly. Cha, and. Artheshu, purpose. Abhijna, Abhigyana, fully cognizant. Savrat, fully independence. Tene, imparted.
Brahma, Vedic knowledge. Hirda, consciousness of the heart. Yah, one who.
Garima Mataji.
Adi Kavya, unto the original created being, Muhyati are illusion, yet about whom Surya, great sages and demigods, Teja, fire, Vari, water, Mridam, earth, Yatha, as much as Vinimaya, action and reaction, Yatra, whereupon, Tisarga, three modes of creation, creative faculties. Amrasa, almost factual. Dhamine, along with all transcendental paraphernalia. Svena, self-sufficiently. Sada, always. Nirasta, negation by absence. Kuhakam, illusion. Satyam, truth. Param, absolute. Dhimahi, I do meditate upon.
Very nice. So, since we are reading, we are focusing on this verse from the Sanskrit perspective, right? And also focusing on the pronunciation. One of the things that I would first say is that what we are reading there is a combination of letters, which, by the way, are written in English, a language that you know, okay? They're using the English alphabet. So you know it. How many letters are there in the English alphabet?
26.
26, right? And in Sanskrit, we have more, right? Almost 48 or 46. So we use some combinations by putting dots and bars and things like that. So one of the things about reading is that you have to apply your eyes. You have to look at what you're reading. Don't read from your mind. Because we have got samskaras, etched things which are etched in the mind. Start with a clean slate. And if you focus on the reading completely, right? Focus on the reading, you won't miss it. You will know this is the word which is coming, this is the word that is coming next to it, and like that. Okay. So one thing I wanted to also mention here is that the word obeisances here, it is called obeisances. Simple like that. There is no English word called obeisances. In English, we only have obeisance. Like that, right? Obeisances is a word created by Prabhupada and we love it. So we use it like that. Okay. And then I also wanted to point out, there were other words also I wanted to point out, but very importantly this, because I talked about it. So this is not Surya. What is this word?
Surya.
Sauraya.
Surya.
Yes. Yeah. Sutapa, say that again.
Surya. Surya.
Yeah. Put your eyes on it. Surayaha. We are talking about Sura and Asura, right? We said, and here they are saying demigods and saintly sages, right? So Surayaha. Surayaha, like that, right? It is not Surya, right? Because we have this thing in our mind that this is Surya, so we say Surya, right? Abhigya. This is not Jnanaha. We know that whenever we see these two words, it somehow means Jnana. And they were right. They've used that word so many times, but this is J and N means Gya. Okay? J and N means Gya. And so this is Abhigya. So you will not have any problem if you just focus your eyes and see what the words are. Give it a little thought and learn control of senses, right? We want to control our senses, right? And you see how senses have a mind of their own, right? Because in the morning I said, raise your hand, and then I choose who to speak. We were raising hands and speaking also at the same time. Although the intention was not there. Intention was not to do that, but I'm just saying, I'm just telling you the state of affairs. This is how our body is conditioned to do and act in a certain way, right? So similarly, our minds are conditioned that Jnana means Gyan, so this is Gyan. I won't even look at it. So reading means that, you have to focus. And this is Shastras. And when we say that you are focusing, then we really have to focus. Whether others are reading or whether you are reading, you focus on that, right? And if you're doing something in the kitchen, I know it's early in the morning, still, focus your ears. They can, and just hear, and hear. more and more, more and more, more and more, more and more, like that. Okay. So I will continue to do this nitpicking, so to speak, every day. The idea is that in the end, we'll all become experts here at reciting it. Okay. After that
Hare,
long.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. 1 second, Mataji. Mataji, just pronounce again once. Surya.
Sura
Surya.
Yaha. Sura
Surya.
Yaha.
Surya.
It is not sur, because that is not woo. Sur
Okay.
and a sur. Sur Yaha. Break it down.
Surya.
Sur Yaha. Sur Yaha.
Surya.
Yaha. Mohayanti yat suryaha. Okay, all right. Whose turn is it to read?
Manasi.
Oh, Manasi. Hold on. I have to say something. And we all have to say something. That today is Manasi's birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Manasi.
Happy birthday, Mansi.
Happy birthday, Mansi.
Hare
We should
Krishna
sing
to
together.
you, Mansi.
So it's a birthday gift from Mansi, not from us, that she is here today.
She's appeared today. That is true. Okay, so what is your birthday resolution, my dear Manasi?
Come to Bhagavad-gita class daily.
Come to Bhagavad-gita class. There you go. You know that I'm recording this, right? Okay, so on this fantastic day, we pray to the Lordships that they bless you and your dear ones, that you continue to be safe and sound and healthy and be completely engaged in devotional service. It doesn't matter what you're doing. So tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yaddacha is what Krishna says to Arjuna. And I just especially wanted to tell you that, Manasi, I haven't known you for many, many years. I have known Suyash more. I sold him a Bhagavatam, I know that. But you have kind of, joined late in my life, but you have grabbed a large part of it. I really appreciate the behind the scene work that you do. You're kind of like the unsung hero. I have been observing you read the Bhagavad-gita and study, come to the classes, and I can definitely see a nice progress in the way that you're going about. One of the things I like about you is that you have been making a lot of efforts to hear what is being said in the class and then applying it like that also. And I'm pretty sure that Suyash Prabhu has a big hand in that, because I can see him guiding you, and which is an ideal husband-wife relationship. The husband guides and the wife, if it is right thing, she takes it also like that. And by the way, there are people, and you can look at it later on, there are people on Facebook also who are wishing you a happy birthday. So we'll do a little happy birthday song all together. Every one of you can unmute yourself as we go. Vancha kalpa Oh, look at that.
Arjun, happy birthday.
There's Arjun. Can we have a look at Arjun? Okay, very nice. So you have birthday wishes from Arjun also. There we go, Arjuna. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Say happy birthday, Arjuna.
Yeah, but he will not say.
He will not say. That's a well-known fact. And then after the class is over, the whole day he'll be singing happy birthday to Manasi. All right. Okay, so Manasi, you're lucky. First 1.1.1. Srimad Bhagavatam. And I have to share it with you, right? Yeah, Suresh, you were going to say something?
Yeah, PDF, can you share?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Translation. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all the causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge to being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusionary representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal.
I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth.
Haribol. Okay. So let us spend a few minutes doing the reflections.
Mataji, I have question.
Okay. And I think
So-
Varshana Mataji also had a question from yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, Priyanka.
Okay. So my question is that this line, directly and indirectly conscious of all the manifestations. I'm just trying to understand. Can you give example when is directly and how indirectly and the difference?
Yeah, very good question. So directly and indirectly, we know, and Vaisheshika Prabhu always points this out, that to the altar, and he says, look at Krishna. He doesn't even wear shoes, which means that he's not going to office. Krishna only likes to play. That's the Swarat. He's independent, right? See, he creates this material world. He says, like in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad-gita, that I'm like the thread that holds, like a thread in a necklace that holds all the beads together, pearls together. Similarly, he says that I hold this whole world together. And then later on, he'll say, yet I have got nothing to do with it, right? So he will not be involved in day to day in the nitty-gritties of everything, right? But he has created a layer of, he's created a board of directors, and then there are a slew of managers underneath him, right? So on this board of directors will be Balram, Vasudev, Sankarshan, the Vishnus, like that, right? So so he's not involved directly in the day-to-day, but his expansions are doing it. So he's indirectly also involved in everything that is doing it. And then when it comes to real devotional service, when you come really close to Krishna, then you are in direct contact with him, like, like the gopis or the residents of Golok Vrindavan. So that's what it means, directly and indirectly.
So Mataji, in the case of Gajendra's story, then when Gajendra calls and when Lord comes, is he in his direct? Is he directly there, or is it like Narayana indirect? Is he indirectly?
Vishnu comes there.
Okay.
Yeah. We also have to remember that Krishna, so when Krishna comes here, right? So Krishna can come, or separately Vishnu can also come, like that, right? So when Krishna comes, he comes with his whole, entourage. All the people with him come. So all the demigods, his expansions, they all come. We don't see them. And the killing part, Krishna never kills. The killing part is done by the Vishnu aspect of Krishna, like that. So yeah, but you see that Krishna, when he's there, and in the form of Vishnu, he'll come there, and that's how it's described. Then but he's listening. So you see, when it comes to devotees, he will be involved there. Now, in which form he's going to come to do the killing, etc., of Huhu, right? He chopped off the head of Huhu, the crocodile. So how he does that, he'll do it through the agency of Vishnu. It's a little difficult to understand that, but sometimes it can still be understood, in the sense that, I don't know if it happens these days or not, but in my lifetime, menfolk don't take this badly, but men do not have that much of clout in the family, because women are also working, earning same, and men have to do all the chores together. But in my lifetime, father meant something. And when I look at the literature and read the literature of, maybe 50 years or even 25 years before I was born, in other parts of the world also, the children used to address their father as sir. So father was sir. He was held in so much of respect like that. And but not any longer, we take names and or we do all kinds of things. But the father was a very, strong figure, very revered and things like that. So if the father was angry, boy, the first person who's scared out of it is the mother. And then, of course, some of the elder children will be scared of it because they understand that there is anger there. But the small ones don't, they don't. And then, of course, the father will be like, I don't want to eat dinner. He's angry, he's expressing that. And then what to do? He's not eating food. Then the mother will go and send the youngest child there, and say, you want to eat food. So it's actually the mother who's asking, do you want to eat food? But she's asking it indirectly, through the child.
I used to do like that, Mataji. With my daughter. Now, my husband used to say, no, I'm not eating. Not that it's anger, but every time I ask. But, when I send my daughter, right away he used to accept it. I don't know how. He's the older one, but he used to accept it. The daughter's favorite, I think, father.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can I say something?
Yes, please.
When Lord Nrsimhadev came and he killed Hiranyakashipu, the Lord was very angry, and everybody prayed to Lakshmi Ma that you please go and pacify him. But he said no. And she sent Prahlad to do that. And he was totally pacified.
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly. And they were so scared. They were so scared that they were so very scared. So we all knew that Hiranyakashipu was terrorizing even the demigods. Right? And very nice citation, Shraddha-devi. They were very terrified of the demigods, and demigods were very terrified of Hiranyakashipu because he was giving them good, grief all along. And so when Nrsimhadev comes, and so he's trying to, kill Hiranyakashipu, and at one point in time, so the Devtas are looking from the top and they're feeling happy. And then at one point in time, he drops it and they're like, oh my goodness. And they get very scared because they are thinking that if Hiranyakashipu, now we were clapping because we were thinking that he's going to be killed, but now he has dropped him. This means that maybe Hiranyakashipu will not be killed, and what are we going to do? So they try to hide, they try to hide. And then Brahmaji is saying, so they try to hide their face like that so that they won't recognize who did that. And then Brahmaji is saying, how can I hide my face? I have got 4 faces. They are in all the directions. So sometimes we might think that Brahmaji is very, very lucky. He has got 4 heads, right? But then, when you're in trouble, you can't hide your face. I hide this one, I had that one. Which one will I hide? Yeah, so they just put, and then look at all of them. They're saying, who's going to pacify me? Who's going to pacify it? And then they push this 5-year-old. But then you see the connection, right? And then what does Nrsimhadev do? He's behaving like a cat or a lion, and he starts licking the head of Prahlad Maharaj. And he's the epitome of Vatsalya Ras, the love for your child is exhibited by Nrsimhadev. That's why kids.
There is a beautiful picture, Mataji. Lord is holding him on his shoulder, and you see, keeping his hand on his back. It is such a beautiful picture.
Yeah, he's burping him. As you burp a kid. Okay, very good. Very good. So are we ready now? Oh, Varshana, you had a question, and Prabhu, you can Yeah, start with the next. Varshana, you had a question from yesterday, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, we discussed about Swadharma. Now, Swadharma is means what I have to do. That is my dharma. According to my nature, I'm a woman, and what are my duties, and I have to do that. Now,
No. Your nature, not a woman. We are talking about the nature according to the varnas, right? Your duty as a Kshatriya, your duty as a Brahmana, your duty as you know, whatever you are. For example, you are second initiated, right? So you are a Brahmana. So you have to do the duty of a Brahmana. That's your Swadharma.
Okay, Mataji, good. You told me this. Another thing, Mataji, that we being the Grasthas, though Brahmana, but as a Grastha, living in this world, how should I mean, what all should I do to attain God? That is, one is chanting the holy name and the Bhakti Marga I should take. But I mean, living in this Grastha ashram, how should I perform my duties, my Swadharma?
So what is your Swadharma? You are a Brahmin, right? What does a Brahmin do? Let's see, you are doing all of them or not.
Mataji, they preach.
Okay.
One duty is they preach. They do the deity worship.
Okay.
And they cook bhoga for the Lord.
Okay. Are you doing that?
Mataji, I'm cooking at home bhoga for the Lord.
Okay. Is there God in your home or not?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not the details, but I have the pictures. So every day I
do does God live in the pictures?
God lives in my, he lives in me. I mean,
does he live in your picture? That is the question.
Yes, he lives in the picture.
Okay.
He is
Okay. So are you doing deity worship then?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good. All right. So you're doing your Swadharma, right? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam manusmara yadyacha. Krishna says that, yes, even if you're cooking, you think about Krishna, who's preventing you from thinking about Krishna. Right? So a Brahmana will think more about Krishna because being a Brahmana, like that, right? So we have a choice, right? What we think about when we are cooking.
Yes. We have a choice.
A Brahmana exercises, right? A Brahmana exercises those duties more, right? Exercise those faculties even more, right? Like that. So a Brahmana, and then will also exhibit and work on the duties of a Brahmana and the qualities of a Brahmana. What do you think are the qualities of a Brahmana?
Brahmana should teach, Mataji. He is supposed to teach.
That is a duty. That is a duty. Yeah. So just have that clarity in your head.
Brahmana, Mataji, can I
hold on. Let me finish my sentence. So I was saying that there's a difference between the word duty and the word quality. Okay. So right now we are just focusing on the qualities of a Brahmana. So Tapa Mataji, if you want to share the qualities of a Brahmana, then let's see.
First of all, he is a learned person, then humble. He should be tolerant.
Yes, very good. Tolerant, and then more?
Humble, compassionate.
Okay.
And and then he should be learned also.
He should be learned also? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what else does he do? You guys know any Brahmanas around you? Yes or no?
The kindness.
They are kind. Okay.
He should have faith in Krishna.
He should have faith in Krishna.
And Mataji, very satisfied. They should be satisfied with what they have.
Hare Krishna Mataji, he should follow the regulator principles in his life, in his or her life.
Right, right. So a Brahmana will have sattva guna. He tries to stay in the mode of goodness, right? And we talked yesterday about, you can stop sharing it for a minute so that I can see all of you. And I'm sorry, I had asked you to share it. So we had talked yesterday about how Sutapa Mataji went into the mode of goodness. Not when, she's always there, but exhibited the mode of goodness. So the mode of goodness is something that is expected from the Brahmanas. What is the mode of mature nature that is applicable to Kshatriyas?
Passion.
Passion.
The
Passion.
fighting.
So you see? Yeah. So mode of passion is applicable to them. So for a Brahmana, one of the qualities of a Brahmana is that he is in the mode of goodness most of the time, right? Then he also does what is known as sama. Sama means mind control. Mind control means everywhere. So a little while ago, I was talking about controlling the mind when you are reading also. Because as we are reading a particular verse, here in the class, the mind can go here and there. Believe me, my mind goes here and there, even when I'm talking, like that. So fixed in mind control, shama is there. Then there is dhamma also. Dhamma means controlling the senses. And like I was saying that, raising the hand and speaking at the same time is not control of senses. Right? Control of senses means, okay, I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to only raise my hand. And that's a practice we all have to do. I'm not blaming or pointing fingers. We all do it, including me. Do it. Then the Brahmana also does samadhamma, and then he also does satya, truthfulness. Brahmanas are known for being truthful, right? And then, like you said, Varshana Mataji, that they preach. So the Sanskrit word for that is anugraha, not preaching, but anugraha is that they have mercy for others. And because they are merciful to others, they will preach the purpose of, our literature to all the other souls which are conditioned. So can you give me an example of a person who out of his mercy preached?
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada, yes.
Yes.
There you go, for 600 points. You get that, right? Then a Brahmana will also do tapasya, right? So penance, austerity. How do you do that, tapasya?
Following the 4 regulatory principles in life.
Oh, yes, that's a big tapasya, right? Okay. And then there is another one, which is for them, and which is titiksha. Titiksha means tolerance. They are tolerant, right? And then, like one of you had pointed out, I think Suyash pointed out that a Brahmana, will realize when they are at that place that they have a realization of their position with respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, So these are things which will be there in a Brahmana. So, Vaishana Mataji, so when we talk about tolerance, you can't go sit in the Himalayas and say, I'm tolerating. Who are you tolerating? Nobody, right? So while you're staying in your Grihastha ashram, you will come across, because of the position, you'll come across so many that you have to tolerate, starting with the servant maid, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like that. Okay. All right. So in the interest of time, I'm going to go over to the chapter. Request Yash Prabhu to bring it up and also remind us of our reading order.
Mataji, you said realization with the God. Last point.
What else do you want to realize? What do you want to realize other than God?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then Bhakta Max says that keeping Ekadashi is an austerity. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Ekadashi.
Yeah. And then Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.20, Bhakta Max tells us is the qualities of a Brahmana are listed there. 1.2.20. Okay. And then honesty, wisdom, truthfulness. Vidyavadhu Madhagu says. And then our Preeti Radhika is watching us on Facebook. Fantastic. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we are devotees of the God Krishna who has no work, says Bhakta Rohit. Wow, no work. Yeah, no work. Patitana Pavnebhyo. Yes, good. Okay, let's get going.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
I'll say the reading order again, Mataji. There are some
Yes,
updates. Sutapa Mataji, Sadhana Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Jaya Mataji, Garima Mataji, Manasi, Suyash, Nirul Prabhu, Shraddha Mataji.
Okay.
So now it's my turn.
Two
Chapter
verses.
2. Yes. Chapter 2. Contents of the Gita summarized. Text 1. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Neeral Prabhu?
What did Khyati Mataji say? They had to go leave early in the morning to go to office. She said something like that, right?
Mataji, I will read right now.
There? Okay, good.
Yeah. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise. O chastiser of enemy. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? Mataji, please go ahead.
Text 5. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, Vijayalakshmi Mataji already left because she didn't read.
Yes, Mataji.
Oh.
Yeah, some of them have to leave today early. Sadhana Mataji has to go at some point in time, 7:30. And
Take 7.
Vijayalakshmi had a doctor's appointment. Yeah.
Okay. Take 7. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of my early weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Text 8. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Hare Krishna.
Text 9. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
Text 11, Hare Krishna. Text 11, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for living nor for the dead. Text 12, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Hare Krishna.
Text 13. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Text 14. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O Scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Text 15. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Text 16. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
Text 17. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Text 18. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata.
Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. Text 20. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
Text 21. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Hare Krishna. Text 23. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Hare Krishna.
Text 25. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed.
Text 27. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Text 28. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation? Hare Krishna.
Text 29. Some look at the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Text 30. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need to not grieve for any living being.
Hare Krishna. Text 31. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on the religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. Hare Krishna.
Text 33. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Text 34. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
Who comes after Priyanka Mataji?
Mataji, you're reading on mute. Jaya Mataji.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. So text 35. The great general who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Text 36. Your enemy will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
Text 37. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Text 38. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin.
So, Garima Mataji, are you watching this on an iPad or on a computer?
Phone, Mataji.
You are on
iPhone.
the phone? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tilt the phone a little bit so that you come a little bit straight? Let's see. Yeah, this is much better. Okay, thank you. Whose turn is it to read? Verse 33.
Mine, Mataji.
Okay, that's a birthday gift from Krishna to you.
अथ चेत् त्वम् इमां धर्मयां संग्रमं न करिष्यासि तथा स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापाम् अवाप्स्यसि.
Very good. For a newborn.
Synonym. Atha, therefore. Chet. Chet is right, Mataji?
Chet.
Okay. If.
Chet.
Tvam, you. Imam, this. Dharmyam, as a religious duty. Sangramam, or Sangramam. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Fighting. Na, do not. Karishyasi, perform.
Karishyasi. Karishyasi.
Okay. Karishyasi.
Karishyasi.
My mind did Karishyasi. Karishyasi, perform. Tatah, then. Swadharmam, your religious duty. Kirtim, reputation.
Kirtan. Kirtan. So yes, Kirtan.
Okay.
There's a bar on top of the first I, right? Kirtan.
Kirtim, yeah.
Kirtan. Kirti. You know Kirti? Yeah. Yash and Kirti? Yeah. Like that.
Kirtim, reputation. Cha, also. Hitwa, losing. Papam, sinful reaction. Avapshasi, will gain.
Yeah. Avapsyasi. Avapsyasi, right? Let's break it two and then practice. Avapsyasi.
Avapsyasi.
Yeah, will gain. This is gain, right? We should learn how to practice how to pronounce gain, right? We're looking after gain and thing. Okay, good. After Manasi.
Translation: if, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Well, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I will skip my turn for reading and give it to the next person in line.
Parvat, Arjuna was a famous fighter and he attained fame by fighting many great demigods, including even Lord Shiva. After fighting and defeating Lord Shiva in the dress of a hunter, Arjuna pleased the Lord and received as a reward a weapon called Pashupat Astra. Everyone knew that he was a great warrior. Even Dronacharya gave him benedictions and awarded him the special weapon by which he could kill even his teacher. So he was credited with so many military certificates from many authorities, including his adopted father Indra, the heavenly king. But if he abandoned the battle, not only would he neglect his specific duty as a Kshatriya, but he would lose all his fame and good name and thus prepare his royal road to hell. In other words, he would go to hell not by fighting but by withdrawing from battle.
Hari Bol. Okay. Reflection time. And before we go there, there's a question by Achyuta Radhe Mataji, and she's asking what's the difference between tapa and yajna? So what do you think is the difference between tapa and yajna?
Mataji, is it yagya is one of the tapas? Tapa includes much more. Tapa will include different types of austerities. For
And
example,
give me some examples of austerity.
for example, keeping certain fasts, and
Okay.
also
Okay.
like in olden times, people used to stand on one leg and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then yagya is the fire sacrifice.
Right. Correct. Right. So austerity is where you are going and doing something which will pinch you. It's not an easy thing, right? You come here, sit on a sofa, and you read. You want to make it austere. Is that you come sit on the sofa and read and switch off the air conditioner. That makes it austere. So that is austerity. Tapa. Tapa means that when you're trying to do something, because of the difficulty, it'll raise your temperature, right? Tapa means there's some heat. Right? Tapastam tava etena tava siddhir bhavishyati. And it is required. Tapa is required in our lives. Without tapa, you can't achieve perfection. Now, can you give me examples of tapa in the mundane world? Not talking about spiritual life. I'm talking about tapa in the mundane world.
Donations.
I like that. The temperature goes up. Huh? Tapa is when you're doing some austerity, something that is pinching you. Donations, I think, is, if you're donating to Krishna, it's a transcendental activity. I'm looking at tapa in the material world.
This is the hard work to get into IIT.
Mm-hmm. Right. Students do a lot of tapa, right? Students do a lot of tapa. There's a story about a Chinese scholar or whatever, but I've seen that in my life also. My father-in-law, or I would say uncle-in-law, my husband's uncle, he was the head of Department of Mechanical Engineering in Pilani Institute of Sciences in Rajasthan, Pilani, right? So he he just wasted his time a lot when as a young boy, and I think he failed or something like that. And the grandfather was very angry and then he realized that he had made a mistake. So when he used to sit down to study, he just sat down to study, and if he would go to sleep, he took the hair of his head, he tied it with a string to the fan. And so if he ever slept like that, dozed off like that, the string would pull his hair, and then he would wake up and he would study. So people do tapa like that. That is tapa, isn't it? You're working so hard. And then we can also do tapa for some bad reasons. Can you give me an example of tapa people did for bad reasons?
Hiranyakashipu, right?
Hiranyakashipu, right? So he went through so much of austerities, but he wanted, something different to come out of it, right? And yagya, as you pointed out, is the process of doing some sacrifice. And so the most gross form of sacrifice is what you see, right? You have a pit, and then on the pit you're pouring certain things, right? Ghee, flowers, fruits, all the samagri, all of that is going inside it. That is also sacrifice, right? So but when you sacrifice certain things, when you're conducting a sacrifice, then there are other ways in which you can sacrifice also. And we did that in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, right? However, I'm not going there, but I'll just summarize that Srimad Bhagavatam also says that there are various ways in which a person can perform a sacrifice. So usually sacrifices are performed toward a certain end. You have certain goal in mind, and then you perform that sacrifice, right? For example, Drupad, right? Draupadi's dad had conducted a yajna. What did he want out of that yajna? Unmute yourself and tell us. Who was born out? Who was born out of yajna?
Drishtadumya.
Drishtadumya, exactly right. And then our birthday girl is very on tops today. And what was the purpose of Drishtadumna?
To kill Dronacharya.
To kill Dronacharya. See? So you can perform a yagya for mundane purposes also. But the main yagya that we should do is for the purposes of achieving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? And what is the yagya recommended for us? Yagya translates into sacrifice.
Chanting the holy name of the Lord.
Chanting, right? Yes, Sankirtan Yagya, chanting the holy name of the Lord is what is the sacrifice that we're supposed to do. So people can offer, in a sacrifice, there are so many things that you can offer. The easiest thing that we can see being offered in a sacrifice is that people are putting, they are sacrificing food items, right? Kela uthaya, aag mein dala, right? So that's one thing that you can do. You can also sacrifice your valuable things, right? You can put them in the fire also. And then other things other ways in which you can involve, people also offer hymns in the sacrificial pit, right? You recite things, they bring in a priest, right? Then you have to give money to the priest. That's also a sacrifice from your side that is happening. The biggest sacrifice, and that people do is, when they sacrifice their mind. The various places the mind wants to go, sit on the chariot of the mind and go here and there. Manorethena sati davato bai, like that. So the biggest sacrifice that we do is to control the mind. And 6th chapter has a very beautiful description of all the sacrifices that people do. Like for example, for a brahmachari, he sacrifices the joy of indulgent in bodily pleasures, right? So that is his sacrifice. But a grihastha, on the other hand, indulges in bodily pleasures, but he does that in a controlled way. So that is his sacrifice, that knowing how it feels, then not doing, and then brahmachari doesn't know how it is, but still, he's controlling. So like that, there are various ways in which sacrifice can be done. So the sacrifice, and we have yajnas. Like
in
that.
this world, like not to complain about anyone is also like austerity, right?
Ooh, very good. Austerity of speech and austerity of mind combined. Not to complain all the time. Yeah.
So, Mataji, if we do some mistake, like unintentionally, I'm not talking about the regulative principles. So, if we do some mistake and then just doing only chanting like the Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Kevalam means that will help.
Yes. Yes, it's an unbelievable thing, right? It sounds so unbelievable. Like, what am I doing? Sitting like a parrot, I'm just reciting the Hare Krishna mantra. But the mantra is so powerful because it's a transcendental mantra. And we like when things are very esoteric, very complicated, and like, ooh, I did these maneuvers, and I went into this pose and crow pose and crocodile pose in yoga, and I should be doing that. I should be standing in one leg. But believe me, we don't have the capabilities in Kali Yuga to be able to do any of those things. You cannot do that. We cannot stand on one leg for a very long time. And my knees are hurting. We'll start that. So to do those kind of austerities, you require a body like that also. Yeah. Go ahead, Varshana Mataji.
Mataji, this is also a sacrifice that the preacher is working so hard, first preparing, collecting all the information, spending a lot of time, and then preaching. This is also a sacrifice of time and energy and learning. So
Yes.
and teaching others. So this is also a sacrifice.
Absolutely. And a Brahmana is supposed to do that. Patan Patan, right? He's supposed to do that. He's supposed to preach. So you see, supposed to preach means it's your swadharma. You're supposed to do it. And in today's verse, what is Krishna telling him? So it's a very interesting thing that in the previous 2 verses, Krishna is telling Arjuna about that if you do this, you will get this. If you fight, you will get to the heavenly planets.
Mm-hmm.
So he's giving him that this is your swadharma, so you should do this. And you'll get good results. But in today's verse, it is completely looking at it from the other side. Like, what if you do not do your swadharma? What's going to happen? What does Krishna tell?
You will incur
Yes,
sin.
yes.
Go to,
Suresh Prabhu. Yeah, Suresh
they
Prabhu
will go
raised.
to
I
hell.
think I saw him raise his hand. Did you? Did you raise your hand, Suresh Prabhu? Or was it a gesture?
He will go to, Kshatriya will go to hell if he don't do his duty.
If he doesn't do his duty now, isn't that eye-opening?
Yeah.
Did we ever think of it? That if you don't do your duty, it's also culpable offense. Not doing the duty is also a culpable offense. It's the wrong thing. So that is how powerful the Swadharma is. This is what you are supposed to do.
Mataji, I have a quick question. Can I ask?
Sure.
How would we know our Swadharma given today we say we are kind of Shudras, at times we are this, at times we are that?
Very nice. Yeah, it's a very messed up religion, a very messed up yuga. But for sure, we have heard the Acharyas tell us that we are Shudras. So we should understand that we are all Shudras. We start from that because that'll give you humility because Shudra serves. So we'll get that. Once you understand in a mentality that we are Shudras, we will say, okay, fine. So if I'm supposed to be being asked to work hard and I'm being asked to work, that's fine. I'm a Shudra. What else can I do? Like that. Okay? But then if you don't like being a Shudra, then let's talk about how can we elevate ourselves to a higher level, right? But in this world, in this yoga, it doesn't matter. Yeah, right? Tepi suha papa yonayaha. So Krishna says in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad-gita that what to talk about those who are exalted brahmanas and all that stuff. Even if people who belong to lower papa yonia, those groups and those yonis that do sinful activities, even those will go back to Godhead by doing devotional service to the Lord, like that, right? And then you also need guidance. You also need guidance from a spiritual master. You need guidance from a mentor to see what is my type, what am I exhibiting. You also need to study, right? Study, and so Bhagavad Gita tells you the characteristics of a Kshatriya, tells you the characteristic of a Brahmana. Brahmana will tolerate. Kshatriya will give dandam, right? He will punish. So you see, you can do some introspection and you will know, what am I? But then and so yesterday I talked about Varnashram, right? And I had said that at the very bottom we have Asuri Varnashram. And Varshana Mataji, you took notes. Did you take notes yesterday about Asuri Varnashram? And so what happens in Asuri Varnashram?
Well, you said that Davik Varnashram, Asurik, and Vedic Varnashram.
No, Varshana, precise.
That is the lowest Varnashram.
Precise. I'm talking to Varshana right now. Precise. Varshana,
Yeah.
precise. Question was, what is Asuri Varnashram? And you give me just answer to that. What is not Devi, what is Asuri Varnashram? That was my question. Asuri. Look in your notes and give me just that. Asuri Varnashram.
Yeah, I think I missed it.
You missed that. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, that's an important one because in the Asuri Varnashram system, I can see Suresh Prabhu raising his hands, and I'm going to honor that. Go ahead.
Suttapa Mataji also.
Yeah. No, Prabhu, you go
He also
ahead.
raised a hand. Okay, I should now go into the speaker view. This means, okay. Yeah,
No,
tell me.
No, sure, please go ahead. I'll listen.
So Asuri is one who follows Varnashram as per birth. Let's say a person born in Brahmana family treats himself as Brahmana is Asuri Varnashram. Is
Yes,
that right?
and a few tweaks here and there to the words there. In the Asri Varna, the person does not live like a Brahman, does not behave like whichever family he's born in. He just thinks that just because I'm born in this family, just because I'm born in the family of a Brahmana, I am a Brahmana. And that's it. I will not do Patan, Yajan. My father is a Brahmana. What are you talking? This is who I am. that is Asuri Varnashram.
So,
Like that,
Mataji,
right?
The people who take part in Brahmin family and don't do anything, like they don't read, they don't chant or anything, then we cannot tell them as Brahmin?
They're not Brahmanas. They're not at all. They're Brahmana Bandhus. They're relatives of Brahmanas.
Brahmana
Brown
Bandhu.
Yeah. Right. We are doing Brahmana Bandhu in the Bhagavatam class, right? Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama, we were saying Krishna says a Brahma Bandhu, Brahmana Bandhu. He's a relative of a Brahman. Right?
Mataji, but in today's India, doesn't that agitate so many people?
Oh yes. Yeah. Prabhupada seriously agitated, including his god brothers. He agitated. But then a Brahmana speaks the truth. So Prabhupada spoke the truth. Prabhupada spoke the truth very bluntly sometimes, isn't it? Yeah.
And I'm just curious, now we are talking about Kshatriyas. So where does doctors come? They come under Brahmana, they come under where? Or engineer?
Yeah, you won't like it. Doctors, you won't like it if you're watching on Facebook.
Vaishyas.
Okay, it is not Vaishya, it is Vaishya.
Vaishya, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So doctors, doctors are Shudras.
Okay. All professionals are Shudras.
Yes. All software engineers are Shudras. You see, I mean, is the doctor doing, what is the doctor doing? Is the doctor going out and protecting people with a sword in his hand? No. Right? Is the doctor doing patan yajan yajan? No. Is he doing business? No. He's serving. He's opening up your body, all the dirty, like that. Right? So these things are eye openers for all of us. So they belong to that category. Now, like I said, that here it's all mixed up and messed up things. So a doctor will set up a hospital. So he'll do the administration of the hospital. So he's exhibiting a little bit of the Kshatriya trait in him. He will handle the finances. So he's doing a Vaishya thing also there, right? Like that. It's all thoroughly messed up thing. But that is what they are. That is what they are. So the thing here is that we have to understand that this is who we are. And so if we are Shudras, then what more do you want? You want to behave like a Brahmana and say, I want to do this sacrifice, that sacrifice. And Bhakta Max is reminding me on Facebook, he says that Sarv Dharman Paritajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshisyami Ma Suchaha. Forget about this, forget about that. Just chant. So Sutapa, to answer your question, that is chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Is that all I have to do? Well, my dear, this is all we can do. I mean, actually, we can't even do that. We have trouble chanting also, right? Chanting means you sit and hear, right? Can't even sit down and hear three mantras in one row. Can't even do that. In one mantra itself, the mind goes here and there. Or is it just me? You all are able to concentrate.
It goes here and there. Yes.
It goes here and there, right?
Mataji, I'm sorry otherwise I'll listen to the lecture again. I was listening, only last part was left, your yesterday's lecture. Davik is transcendental, and where you do your duty according to your varna, right?
So the Asuri Varnashram system is when you think that you are born in a particular family and you are inheriting your varna from that family.
Yeah. Right, Mataji.
The second one is the Vedic Varnashram, where you are born and you do the work of that varna. Right? So you're a Kshatriya, you will work like a Kshatriya. And then your elevation will happen. From Kshatriya, next birth, you'll become a Brahmana. Right? Or a Shudra, you'll spend your life doing this, Shudra, and then in your next life, you will become a Vaishya, like that. So there's a progressive thing. Brahmanas and the next life will go to heavenly planets from where they can do a little bit more. And the best and which we follow is the Devi, Daivi, Devi Varnashram, where anybody can be in any of the ashrams. of any of the varnas, whether he's a Vaishya, whether he's a Shudra, a Kshatriya, or whether he's a Brahmana, all of them can go back directly back to Godhead, which is what we are saying.
Okay.
That's the best.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji, so much.
Mataji, yesterday there was means you mentioned one thing like compassion should be placed properly.
Yes.
So
Misplaced compassion. Right? I was talking about misplaced compassion. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So can you please tell a little bit about it? Because properly means what?
Yeah. Misplaced compassion. There are so many examples of that. For example, when I was working in Delhi 35 years ago, I used to go from my office. I would walk about 3 or 4 blocks till I could take my bus and then go back home. And on the way, there used to be people with leprosy sitting on the road, and they would be begging. Right? So I would give them some money and go. And then one day, one of my friends also came with me. We were both going to the bus stand, and then she said that, do you know, what do they do with the money that you give them? I had no idea what they did. And it was an eye opener for me. She said in the night, they all buy alcohol and they drink it. So was I compassionate to them? Yes. But it was misplaced compassion, right? Similarly, Prabhupada goes even more deeper, and he says that when it comes to compassion for the dress of a drowning man is a wrong compassion. If a person is drowning and you say, oh, I saved his coat, I saved his pant, what good use is that? You'd have saved the body, right? Similarly here, if I'm being compassionate and somebody is feeling low and depressed because they have become old, right? They have become old. They said, I've got some wrinkles here, some wrinkles there. I used to be beautiful. I don't look beautiful. I'm very depressed. Okay. So you say, I'm a plastic surgeon. I can make you beautiful again. Compassion. Person was feeling so bad. Compassion, right? Is that real compassion? Is this good compassion? No. A better compassion will be when a Brahmana comes and does patan, goes and teaches that, janma matra with jara, vyadi is a fact of life. These are the only 4 problems in life, and that happens to everyone. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of surgery for you, but tomorrow, the old age is going to fight again, and it will become something else. Now, you see, classic, a very famous singer, what happened? He was trying to touch his nose. And then in the ultimate end, the surgeon his nose disappeared. There was barely anything left. And because of all the pain of that surgery that he underwent, he had to take so many painkillers. So he became an addict of that. And ultimately he died from overdose of painkillers and drugs like that. So misplaced compassion. The real compassion is to say, you don't want to get old? I'm going to tell you something. You are a soul that never gets old. And now you're in a body. What do I do? I'm in this body. Okay, I can tell you how to get out of the cycle of birth and death. That is real compassion. That is compassion that is placed on the right person, and you're saying it in the nice way. Again, you can have misplaced compassion. For example, Arjuna's misplaced compassion. He's saying, Drishtayam sajanam Krishna, yutsam samupastitam. I'm seeing all these people and they're ready to fight, but how can I fight? Katham dronam aham sankhe. Right? Katham bhishmam aham sankhe. Dronam cha madhusudana. How can I kill Bhishma? How can I kill Dronacharya? They are my teachers. He's compassionate for the wrong person because they had sinned, apparently. Like that. If a policeman stands, you're there, and there is a terrorist attack going on, and the policeman says, I have got compassion for him. Because after all, a terrorist, you know what? His father was killed similarly. So he's a young boy, and he's just, his head is all messed up. I won't do anything to stop him. No, you are a policeman. Your swadharma is to maintain law and order. And if you do not do that, then you will go to hell. And we were talking about causes, right? We were talking about cause and action some time ago, and we were saying there is, for anything that happens, there is material cause. For example, if there's a nice dish of paneer and mutton on your table today, Sutapa Mataji, then there is a material cause to it, which is the paneer and the mutton and the spices and the water, everything that you put there. That is the material cause of that dish being made. But then there is also the efficient cause of it, which is you cooking all that together. But then there's also cause. Your husband went and brought the groceries and he brought the people like that, So also the farmer who grew it and all those people who are involved in that, they're all the cause of that dish appearing like that in front of it. So for any action, there is always a cause, and there are consequences of that cause, that karma being done. And sometimes not doing anything is also a punishable thing. Negligence is also a cause sometimes, right? For example, there was this very famous thing of, how paparazzi, the photographers who follow famous people and want to take pictures and sell them for a big price to magazines. So there was a paparazzi, which is a set of photographers. They were following a famous person, a famous personality, and that famous personality met with an accident or something like that, right? And so this photographer stopped and started taking pictures. He was pulled into the court for not doing his duty of calling 911, because that is what your duty was at that time. That if somebody is lying on the road and all in an accident, your duty was to call 911. Right? That is Swadharma. And so neglecting, you did not do that. So you cannot say that, what, I did not hit his car. I did not take a gun and shoot him. He didn't die because of anything that I did. Right? But your negligence of your duty is also punishable. You are culpable for that. You're doing that. So that's why I say that I always say that karma is very gahana. 4.17, to understand the intricacies of karma is very, very difficult. There's a very nice story, and I'll tell that story and I'll stop today's call there on that story. We'll continue with 2.33 tomorrow, because it's a heavy chapter. We need to go into details of that. But I wanted to mention that there was a husband and wife. They used to fight a lot. Not fight, I'm right in the sense they would argue a lot. And Varshana, this might interest you, not because you fight, but it's got some military things in it. So the husband had a gun. And what he had done was that from the gun, he had removed the bullets from the gun. And what he used to do, that when the wife would argue so much, he would take out the gun and say, I'll shoot you. And the wife used to be scared, and he would then stop arguing. And then the argument would stop. So they used to do all that. And then they had a son. And the son obviously knows what goes on in this, but the son doesn't know that, whatever. The other son knows that. So one day the son got into some bad habits. He wanted some money. He asked the mom for money, and he did not. The mom said, no, not for this. I'm not going to give you. Like, I want to buy a car. No, you're too young to have a car of your own. I'm not going to give you the money. So he got angry. Then he said, okay, fine. You know what? I know that my dad does not put bullets in the gun. He has removed the bullets from the gun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bullets in the gun. Right? And so the next time, which always happens often, the next time a father will take out the gun and he'll shoot like that, then the mom will be killed and she will die. And I know she has given some money left aside some money for me. I will inherit that money. So he did that. Now, here is how material world operates. So he put all the bullets in the gun and all that. He's waiting for a fight to happen. The fight does not happen. The parents are not fighting. He's waiting for them to fight. When is the day they're going to fight? My father's going to take out the gun and pull it. And then in the meantime, he's getting deeper and deeper. He was into drugs, and then he needed to pay the money, did not pay the money for the drugs, and the mafia is after him, and it's really cornered over there. And this fight is not happening. So one day, he knows that, the mafia is going to kill me. So he says, it's better I commit suicide. So then he goes to the top of the building and he wants to jump off from the building and go down and commit suicide. So as he's jumping off, he goes there up. He doesn't know that the fight now starts between the husband and the wife. And this boy is, oblivious to all that, he goes to the top of the building and he jumps down. And now here, let the camera go back into the home. They're fighting. The husband pulls out the gun and shoots at the wife, not knowing. And there's a big bang. And as soon as the bang happened, the wife ducks. And the bullet goes straight out of the window, it pierces the window, goes out. And at precisely the same time, the boy is falling down from the building, and the bullet goes and hits him, and then he dies. Now, was it a murder or was it a suicide? What was the real cause of that son's death? He had jumped up, but it was a bullet that killed him. But he had put the bullet himself, right? So it's very intricate. It's very, very intricate. So for anything that is happening, there's so many causes that are there behind it. And then this verse is particularly saying that neglecting your duty means that I'm not doing anything is not sufficient justification. You could get punished for not doing your duty also. Right? A doctor, like if a doctor has got medicine, if a doctor has got the know-how to treat a patient and he doesn't treat him, the patient is calling and the doctor says, no, I'm lounging. I'm spending time with my family. I will not do it. For neglecting. You knew it and you did not, Also remember that sometimes you might not be caught by the justice system in this world, but you'll always be caught by the justice system of Maya, of this material world. She's always looking at you. Ichhanurupam api yasya cha cheshtate sa govindamadi purusham sthiti sthiti pralaya sadhana sakti reka. Yesterday we did that, right? Ishwari Yada told us that this Maya works according to what the Vishnu wants. And if he wants law and order, if he wants wrong to be punished, he will punish them like that. Okay. So what was the question? I forgot the question. Anyway, whatever it was, yeah. So, yeah.
Mataji, the question I asked means why, where the compassion should.
Yeah, it's a misplaced compassion. Yeah, misplaced compassion. So I was talking about actions, and I was telling you about, that inaction. Yeah, not doing any action, you're also culpable for that. So misplaced compassion. Arjuna's compassion was misplaced, and because of that, he was saying, I'm not going to do any action. And I was telling you, intricacies of action are very difficult to understand. That's why we had this story of, what happened. Like that. Okay. So it is past 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's past 8 o'clock, and I would like to call it a day today over here.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Again, today evening at 6 o'clock our time, and we'll go over 7.3. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Right? You take that. Have a fantastic, fantastic day. Keep you Krishna in your mind. Be Krishna conscious and enjoy your day.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you for those joining on Facebook as well as those